That's your motivation. That's your motivation. That's your motivation.
Well, and another question is it scary? Like, that's ultimately, with the horror film, you want to know, is it scary? And I can't, like, objectively say, because I'm so familiar with the movie at this point. So I think it just depends on what you're looking for and what scares you.
It's very, very subjective on what is scary and what isn't. Yeah. Well, let's do something new on review, because as we discussed, I want to do some research. So you out there in our viewing audience, if you are a young person, let's say in your 20s.
Early 20s.
Early 20s, and you have never seen the Blair Witch Project, you don't know much about it, you've probably heard the title. Get it, rent it, whatever, borrow it from a friend, sit in your little home, turn off all your lights, shut off your cell phone, and just sit down and watch the movie. Don't be on your laptop while it's on. Don't fuck around. Just sit and watch the movie in the dark with no distractions.
Oh, fuck me.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
Full disclosure, I'm not in my early 20s anymore, but I'm not as old as those fucks. When I was younger, I didn't like scary movies. I remember one time I was hanging out at my friend's house and my crush was there, but we had to watch this scary Thai movie called Shutter. There was this really scary scene. Audience, if you're a girl and the guy likes you, this might be a cute thing. To scream, be terrified. If you're a guy, don't do this, okay? She will lose all respect for you. She'll be laughing, but at the back of her mind, she's gonna think, oh, this guy's so pathetic. Don't do this. Do not do this. Eventually in college, I joined the film org, and part of films is horror stuff. I was forced to watch it. And fuck me sideways, I kinda like it. Not the jump scare. Woo!
What makes something scary? And it's like saying, why is something funny?
Yeah, it's obviously very subjective.
And it's a human emotion reaction to something. Like, that's creepy. Someone else might not find that creepy. Then you say, why is it creepy? And people go, because it's creepy.
Yeah.
These movies, it's loud noises.
It's the jump scare thing, yeah, and that's, as I said before, that's startling. That's not scary to me. Creepy to me is the stuff that sort of sticks with you and gets under your skin, and you're thinking about it days later.
See, there's a difference between shocking your audience and terrifying him. Movies like The Conjuring, or this cool Japanese film I watched called Noroi. You could find it in your favorite internet streaming service.
Legal disclaimer, this is a joke.
This is not to say that you can't use jump scares.
Yeah, maybe the camera picks something up.
There was tension building.
I'm taking off. There we go. Turn off the light. Get out of the way. Okay.
Everything builds up to the moment wherein they confront the evil thing.
God damn it, stop it!
Understand this? We are now fighting for her soul!
In the name of Jesus Christ, the saints and all the angels, I command you to reveal yourself!
I have seen some shit.
For the most part, I think Paranormal Activity, it's just a flat line with occasional whoa. There are times where the movie can be genuinely creepy, fair enough. But the lead up to that is not so scary.
Horror movies should be like sex. You don't want the audience to blow their load too early. Now bear with me on this one. If your audience begins to associate everything frightening in the film with loud noises and sound effects, then your film will build to nothing. The climax of the movie won't be effective in the least, because the audience has already had all the tension released too early by countless jump scares, making what's actually supposed to be frightening near the end tiresome.
These two movies have what I call the dread game. It's based on this one principle.
Give a man enough rope and he'll hang himself.
The sources tell me that it's Charlotte Bronte? Or that it's an American proverb, but it makes sense either way. It doesn't show the monster all the time, but it's still terrifying. It's still scary because the movie gives you clues. And if you pay enough attention, you should be scared. And having watched the Blair Witch Project finally, I could say that it is part of that dread game. Now, some people might be scared of Paranormal Activity and movies like that. That's fine. Be scared of what you're scared of. This video is me talking about why I found the Blair Witch Project to be scary. So let's examine the film and see how it worked. The story of the Blair Witch is pretty fucking simple. 3 students want to film a documentary about this scary bitch of a witch. And they get lost and are never found again. But what made this great is the way they told the story. At this point in time, this found footage thing was a new thing.
Just tell me a little bit more. I don't want to go cheesy. I want to really avoid any cheese. I want to present this in as straightforward a way as possible, and I think the legend is unsettling enough.
There might be some experimental things that led up to this. That's why they got the idea.
Actually, there's there's Cannibal Holocaust. And there's the last broadcast. I had to make sure that you knew that I knew that.
Okay.
But this was the first time that a movie like this got big.
According to Box Office Mojo, the budget for Blair Witch was $60,000, and it raked in $248 million.
They also used the internet. Audience, you gotta understand, at this time the internet was a new thing. The way they advertised it was that as if this thing was real. They even made a fake documentary to make it appear like this thing actually happened.
I met her when I moved to Montgomery County, Maryland. She's one of the first people that I actually met.
Here's this tiny little thing that first go in, and of course mom is there and the baby's been brought up for the first time.
The movie has one job, to make you believe that it's real. So there's this line between reality and fantasy that has been blurred. It's a great marketing tactic. But it's 2016, bitch! People know it's 100% fake. So the challenge of the movie is for you to suspend disbelief. You gotta buy into the premise. So when did I buy into it? It wasn't at the first part. They happened to find this footage, but it's so edited well.
To the woods prepared to find death. What they found was a desecration of humanity at the site which trappers have often referred to as Coffin Rock. On top of the rock formation, the story of the torture inflicted upon these brave 5 men unfolded. Each was bound to the other, each man's hands bound to the next.
Did you give the witch Sony Vegas? How did she do this? Thanks, witch! Your editing skills are great! I also didn't believe it here.
Should we all, like, cut our fingers open and bleed on it? A little bloodletting on the slate?
No, we'll save that for later. No, we'll save that for later. No, we'll save that for later.
Really subtle. I hate it when people know that there's a possibility that their lives might be in danger, and they mock it. To be fair to them, they didn't know they were walking into a death trap made by a witch.
Did you agree to do this project?
I did. I agreed to a scouted out project.
But you gotta respect the area you're going into. You know, if my friend did this in real life, if you're at the cave and he says, "Oh no, maybe we'll get buried underneath and nobody will ever see us again." What are you doing? For me, I really started to get into it when they were interviewing the people.
Mr. Parr was an old hermit.
Right.
And He lived up on the mountain. He had a place up there. Been there for a long, long time.
Makes us go to bed early.
Really?
Say if you stay up after dark or walk around the house too much, or Blair Witch will come and get you.
The fact that the audio was bad helped to sell that it was real.
The creepiest, creepiest story about her that I ever heard was that two men were out hunting, and they were camped near the cabin or something that she's supposed to haunt.
You see that kid crying because the mom was telling a scary story? That is more subtle than that blood shit.
Oh, we'll save that for later.
She also said this,
That's kind of an omen, isn't it?
but the baby makes up for it. And then they take a break before they go into the woods. With whiskey, I get that. They park the car, they do the thing, but they are so fucked.
Where'd we start out yesterday?
Off the map.
Off the map.
Because I knew where we were going. Though I know there was some confusion. But
Wait,
today,
wait. Say that again?
I said I knew where we were going.
Wait. Would that be a full of shit statement?
No, I didn't.
Would that be a full of shit statement? All I'm saying is that you got us lost, man.
For a very brief amount of time.
2 hours later.
90 minutes? Can you hang? I know exactly where we're going.
Day 2.
I don't remember a portion of this from walking in from the car.
Well, we have to go a little differently to get back because we went around in a curve a little bit. I'm telling you guys, 2 more hours max.
Day 3.
Did you take it?
No, I didn't take the fucking map, man. I'm not playing head games, man. If anyone's playing head games, you're playing head games, but I'm not playing head games.
I don't have it. We have to go. I'm serious. I don't have it.
Are you fucking serious?
Fucking serious. I don't have the map, okay?
A few moments later.
Are you out of your fucking mind?
I'm not out of my mind.
Right.
The map doesn't do a shit.
Do you realize? Not to you, but I do what the fuck that map says!
Sorry!
You are a fucking asshole!
I'm sorry!
You're a fucking asshole!
No, Mike, it's not the same log. It's not the same log, Mike.
Few inches later. 2,000 years later.
I think it's safe to say at this point that we're lost.
So as they're lost in the woods, wandering, Dread Game begins. Nothing explicitly monstrous or horrifying is shown on screen, but it is still terrifying as fuck.
What kind of stuff? Holy shit.
It's the implication of terrible things happening, and your imagination making it work. That's why it was so scary for me. So let's look at the frightening things together. For example, this scene.
Oh, dear.
If I just show you this scene out of context, it's just a bunch of kids poking the tent, right? But the context is that they're lost in the middle of nowhere. Where did these children come from? Oh, you know.
There are an unusually high number of children laid to rest here, most of whom passed in the 1940s.
Sort of in the winter, I guess, the fall or the winter 1940, some of the young kids started to disappear, and nobody knew anything about why they were disappearing. One day, old Mr. Parr come down into the market and said, "I'm finally finished."
And what did he mean by that?
Well, I guess nobody knew at first, but the police finally went up on the mountain, and they searched his house, and they found the bodies of 7 kids from the area.
Why were there stones all around them when they woke up?
How would we have, just made a campsite in between 3 piles of rocks just by coincidence?
You know that too, audience.
We are hot on the cemetery trail.
We are back at the rock again. Rock thing. Cemetery deal.
And they found the bodies of 7 kids.
4, 5, 6, 7. Woke up this morning, just 2 seconds ago, and there are piles of rocks outside of our tent. There are 3, actually. Fuck, Mike, we never go out of earshot. Josh!
Why was Josh taken?
You didn't just knock that over. Please tell me you didn't just knock that over. That's not very nice. Can't be too careful. Josh?
Josh!
How come Josh is screaming? What are they doing to him?
They went into the woods prepared to find death. What they found was a desecration of humanity at the site which trappers have often referred to as Coffin Rock. On top of the rock formation, the story of the torture inflicted upon these brave 5 men unfolded. Each was bound to the other, each man's hands bound to the next man's feet, forming a solid structure out of the men. Blood at the edges of the hemp indicate that this act had been committed while each was alive and able-bodied enough to struggle. In the torso of each man, the intestines had been torn out crudely. On each man's sun-bleached face was inscribed indecipherable writing, cut into their flesh with an eerie precision.
Give a man enough rope and he'll hang himself.
This is why the scene at the end is so effective. We don't see the monster that did it. In any other film, they'd have a scene where the monster looks at the camera, or even show it for a few seconds before eating the shot. Here you get Wasn't that fun? So what is the legacy of the Blair Witch Project? It shows that found footage movies can make money and they can be good. The success of the Blair Witch Project also paved the way for other films like it. We have Chronicle, made by Josh Trank, who did Fantastic. And we have Cloverfield, from the guy who made Star Trek and Star Wars The Force Awakens. We also got the Paranormal Activity series. I watched the Blair Witch Project twice. One for the scare factor, like what Mike said, and second for this review. I agree with Stuckmann when he said that horror films should be like sex. But another thing that horror movies are like is a good comedy movie. A good comedy movie is one you'll watch again and you'll find some funny things about it, even if it's repeating. But you shouldn't keep watching it because the magic disappears the more times you watch it. It's not as scary the second time around because I was already creeped out about it the first time. I think the Blair Witch Project is still a scary movie if I give it time. Maybe I'll watch this again in 1 year, maybe in 6 months, who knows. It's a good Halloween movie. Shout out to Pomfiance, that guy. He made the spooky scary skeletons piano cover which I used for this video. Shout out to A Sad Frog for making the MLG Titanic mix. And you guys, thanks to you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
One rabbit food coming right up.